Good morning and welcome back to our show. This is James, and today I thought I would talk to you about what to do when nobody is watching your YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is James, and I help you build your channel, optimize it for successful growth, and create more engagement with your content. And in order to do that, one of the things that a lot of people have been asking us about is what to do. Oh, hold on, let me mute myself. One of the things we have to do is we have to look at what to do when nobody is watching our streams. Well, there's a lot of different things that could be causing this problem. And so today I thought I would talk about a few of the issues and look at some of the mindset that you might have towards your live streams. And so for those of you that have been watching this for a while, we actually are changing our studio setup just a little bit. This is going to, I think, help me get a little bit more engagement with the camera, but I'm also not seeing the chat. I've actually moved my monitor over here and I put my camera on a tripod so that it's a little bit different setup. Hello, Jonathan. Thank you for joining us today. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Thank you for coming. And YouTube or StreamYard has put out some new templates. I'm not sure that I really like the new one that much, honestly. The bubble one, I kind of agree with some other friends of mine who have been saying the bubble one is kind of too small. They need to expand it, make it bigger like the other one. So today we're talking about continuing to grow your live streams. And one of the things that we've found with our own live streams is, sometimes we might get 6 or 7 or 8 people on a live stream at a time. But, one of the things that we were looking at was, why is nobody watching? Why are people not coming to see what we have to say? Hello, Vintage Vagabond Vans. Thank you for joining us today. I see you coming in. So what do you do to get more people watching your streams? One of the things that we've been looking at is I've been looking at a lot of other channels, and this is something I want you to do within your community, within your niche. Look at the other channels. Look at how many people they have watching their streams, but also look at how many subscribers they have. Look at how many people they have in their audience, because generally while you're live, most of that is going to be people that are already subscribed to you. Most of your unsubscribed views will come after on the replay. So one of the things to look at is I've been looking at my own niches, and one of the things that I found is about 1 to 5% of my subscriber base is actually watching my live streams while I'm live. A lot of people come and watch them on the replay, and I'm getting more traffic through search, recommended, and other sources after. I do get some traffic that comes in while I'm live that are people that don't know me, but not very often. So one of the things I've been looking at, though, is the other bigger channels within my niche and what are their numbers looking like. So I've been looking at some of the other big streamers, and one of the things that I found is they're kind of actually about the same. About 1 to 5% of their subscriber base is actually coming to their live streams. So it's not just about, if you're a small channel like we are, if you're not getting many viewers at your stream, look at how many people you have versus how many people you have subscribed to your channel. And you may find that you're falling right in that same spot that we are, where about 1 to 5%. And I've looked at both of my channels and the live that we live stream on, and I've noticed it's the same results. I've also been looking at other people's channels and other bigger streamers within both niches, and they're about the same. About 1 to 5% of that subscriber base is actually coming to the live streams. So the biggest thing is just focus on continuing your growth. Part of this is going to depend on how you're structuring your streams and how you're performing your streams. For example, one of the things that we're looking at doing is doing more live streaming and less recorded content on this channel. And that's because looking at my analytics, looking at my data, my live streams have the most views on them. My live streams, if you look at my top 10 videos down underneath on my homepage, the very first playlist is my top 10 videos on the channel. 8 of the top 10 videos are all live streams. 8 of our top 10. So that's one of the things that we're looking at. And then I look in the back end at the analytics. The audience retention is going up. I'm getting longer views. I have some of my live streams that have an average audience retention of 20 to 30%, which may look bad on the surface. But if you think about it, when I'm running a 2 or 3 hour live stream and I've got a 30% retention, that means people are actually engaged in watching the live stream for a while. That means, if you have a 10-minute video and you got a 30% retention, that means, they watched about 3 minutes of your video. But if you've got a 3-hour live stream and you got a 30% retention, that means they watched about an hour of your live stream. That's huge. And a lot of live streams, especially on the replay, they're lucky to get 5 to 10-minute retention on a live stream replay. And I'm averaging about 45 minutes to an hour on replay watching my live streams. So that's a huge benefit to me. That means people are actually listening to what we're saying. People are watching the live streams. I've even got a high retention on replays on some of my auctions that we did over on the Storage Scavenger. That means that people are engaged in what we were doing on our auctions and watching how we run our auctions. I even get emails on the replay of people that are like, hey, I saw this item on your auction and it went no sale. Is it still available? I've made sales that way. This is why I'm not worried about things going no sale when I run an auction, even if I don't have that many people. Because I've often made sales on the replay when somebody sees an item that we showed and it didn't sell. So these are some of the things to look at. The other thing is continue to optimize your channel, optimize your streams for the replay. And by doing that, I mean having more structure towards your streams. One of the things that we've been doing more and more is we put together our own streams. Is we're doing more structure in our streams. I actually was watching Owen Video. He's another great resource for YouTube growth. If you haven't followed Owen Video, I really recommend checking out his stream. He teaches a lot about streaming, how to get brand deals, and that kind of stuff on his YouTube channel. And I'm just checking the chat. Nobody's saying anything. But one of the things that I've learned from Owen Video is to do what they call a run of show. And so this is one of the things we're incorporating into our live streams is actually having a document. I have a Word document right here on my desktop that I can glance at real quick to keep myself on track and help me to keep going forward. It's also a great way to put things in there like asking questions of your audience and things to remind yourself to get yourself some more engagement through your live streams. If you're doing live streams on your channel, leave me a note down in the chat right now. Are you doing live streams or are you doing content at all on your YouTube channel right now? And if so, what is the biggest struggle you have with continuing your live streams? What is it that's keeping you from going forward or getting in the way? Because these questions, even though they may be slightly off topic, sometimes when people give me answers to these questions in our chat, this is how we keep coming up with more content ideas. This is one of the things that I love about live streaming is it gives me the opportunity to talk directly with you guys and really get your feedback on what we're talking about and what topics you would like to see us cover more or in depth and in more detail. So this is the next thing that you want to look at when you're looking at your live streams. Look at within your niche. What are other people doing on their live streams that are keeping people more engaged? One of the things that I have found looking back on my live streams, looking back in my own past live streams, and it's one of the things that we're really taking into consideration this year is whenever it's just me up here talking by myself, I get a lot less views on the replay than whenever I have a guest on, when I have somebody else on with me. I've had my friend Adrian from Adrian Rose. She just launched her new channel. She's crushing it. With one video, she's already over 100 subscribers on her new channel. Really excited for her. But she's been on my channel a couple of times. And I've had her. We've had some good conversations. We've had some good things going on. But I've noticed that even on the replay, whenever I have two of us up here on the live stream instead of just one person, it tends to get more engagement and it gets more replay value. Do I use Cash App or Venmo? No, I do not have Cash App or Venmo right now. I use PayPal and I use Buy Me a Coffee for donations. I don't have Cash App or Venmo, and they're not compatible with Buy Me a Coffee. There's so many of those different apps out there to use, and I've looked at maybe setting up one or two, but I can't set them all up. So, but one of the things we're continuing to do, we're constantly trying to improve the quality of our own content. We're completely working on trying to get more people into the channel, get the word out more. And that's one of the other things that I want to reiterate and emphasize. When you're doing a live stream, if nobody's watching, what are you doing prior to your live stream to get more people involved, to get more people engaged? One of the things that we found is like this one. This one was kind of a spur of the moment live. Well, it wasn't totally spur of the moment. I did plan it out ahead of time, but I did just kind of go live. So I only put it out about 20 minutes ago. I didn't do a whole lot of pre-promotion, but like our weekly live streams that we do every Wednesday and every Friday, I put those live streams up 2 or 3 days ahead of time. One just gives it a chance to get indexed and found by YouTube so it can be shown in search and it can be shown in recommended content while we're actually live. But the other thing with that is that it gives other people a chance to set the reminder. Might give people a chance to find us through being served on their homepage. It might get showed on other channels. This can be huge for getting the word out there. The other thing is, are you getting out there on other channels? One of the things that we've been trying to do more of, it's how we built a storage scavenger, is how we're working on. Part of our plan for this year is doing a whole lot more of this on this channel, which is networking, getting out with other people, getting on other people's live streams, and not just in the chat, but actually being up on the panel and getting in front of the audience. And what are you doing to build your audience by networking with other creators within your space, within your niche? This is a huge thing. It's got to be creators within your niche. One of the things I see a lot of people doing is they're trying to go to live streams outside of their niche and trying to get involved with those live streams. And then they're wondering why people don't come and subscribe to their channel. Shout outs, collaborations, working with another channel is most beneficial to you if it's somebody that's highly relevant and they have your ideal target audience already on their channel. And, that's one of the things that you can do. Vintage background. There it is. You schedule ahead of time and also set up events on my personal and business Facebook page and invite people to it. And that's a great way to do it. If you have a huge following on those other platforms, but also are you getting out there and networking with other people within your community, with other people within your niche right here on YouTube? One of the things that we have found through our own experience as well as through other platforms is it's a lot harder to get somebody to go from Facebook over here to Twitter over here to YouTube. Serving those people where they're at. This is why I like StreamYard. I can actually multi-stream this to my Facebook page. I can actually multi-stream this to my Facebook group. I can stream this to Twitter through Periscope, which is shutting down. But for right now, I can still stream directly to my Twitter feed. And this one isn't multi-streaming. The way we are setting ours up, I'm doing multi-streams on our Friday podcast, but our Monday and Wednesday episodes, we are doing just YouTube, because YouTube is my main focus. And this is one of the things that I'm working on is YouTube is my primary focus, and I'm working on building YouTube. But I'm also working on getting some engagement on the other platforms, but we're also trying to serve those people where they're at instead of trying to convince them to leave the platform they're on and come over here to YouTube, because those other platforms, just like YouTube doesn't want you sending people off the platform. Well, guess what? Neither does Facebook, neither does Twitter, neither does Instagram. They don't. So the links that you're posting over on those other platforms to your YouTube channel don't get as much reach because they don't want people leaving the platform to come over here to YouTube. So This is why it's so important that you build your brand, build your loyalty. And one of the keys to doing this is using all these other platforms to connect with people where they're at, build engagement with them there, and then sending them, instead of sending them all to your YouTube channel, send them to your website and build an email list. And I actually have a whole series we've already started recording on how to build an email list with your content. And this is so important because once you have that email list, you can direct people to where you want to go. Now, only about probably between 1 and 7% of the people that you reach are actually going to ever opt into your email list. It's a very low percentage of the people that are willing to do that. But when you build that email list, over time, you build it up to hundreds, thousands of subscribers, then you send out one email and you can say, hey, we're going live on YouTube. Hey, we're going live over here. And you can get them to the platform you want them on. But the other thing with that is, like, for example, I know a lot of people on Periscope, and I know a lot of people that built their entire business in the last few years on Periscope, and they have no other social media presence whatsoever. Well, guess what? In just a couple of months, Periscope is shutting down. Those people are scrambling right now to try to build their audience and try to get their audience to follow them somewhere else so that they don't go out of business. And this is something that's huge, important as you grow. You want diversity, but you need to focus on building one and being really, really solid in one platform, in one place. But you need diversity as well. I know a lot of people years ago who built their entire business on MySpace. Guess where those people are at right now? You don't ever see them. You don't ever hear about them. I see people that are building their entire business on Facebook, building their entire business on Instagram. That puts you too much dependency on a platform you have no control over. So you need to be building your own platform, your own website. But there's a whole lot more work that goes into that. But what I recommend is you find one social media place, like I love YouTube. You focus most of your attention on that. You build a little bit of a following on other platforms. You build a presence on some of those other platforms so it's easier to transfer if something were to happen. But then you also start building your own website. And too much diversity too soon can get you in trouble. But I do recommend that you do this. And the way I'm looking at it is I'm doing kind of minimum viable options on the outside, everything outside of YouTube for right now. So I'm multi-streaming to my Facebook page. I'm letting people know about our Facebook page, but I'm not putting a ton of effort into promoting the Facebook page right now because I want people right here on YouTube. This is where I'm trying to grow. And until I get to about 10,000 subscribers, my focus is going to be solely on YouTube. Once I get over about 10,000 subscribers, then you start getting enough momentum that you can start branching out and spending more time on other platforms. But as we do that, we're also working on setting up opt-ins and setting up other things on our own website, on our own blog, so that we can funnel people to our products, our services, our website where they can find me. And this way, over time, you build up a business that wherever the media goes, whatever form of content you're putting out, which could change next week. Well, probably not next week, but maybe next year, video format just doesn't connect with people anymore, and everything moves to audio-based content. Clubhouse app just came out. Podcasting has been growing and growing and growing for years. I think audio content, honestly, is another form of content that you should be investing some time into. That's one of the things that we do. We actually download these shows and we're formatting them to put them out as a podcast. It's one of the things we're working on setting up on the back end. We're planning to launch that podcast probably around the end of this month. And we've got our first 10 episodes of the podcast already in place so that we can do that. That's why, honestly, I don't do a whole lot of visual references and stuff because those aren't going to be very consumable by a podcast, by an audio-based audience. So that's why we do a lot of, just sitting here talking and chatting with you guys here in the chat. What forms of content are you doing in your channel? I'd like to know. Just leave me a comment below. If you're listening to this on the replay, leave me a comment down below in the comment section and let me know what forms of content you're using to connect with your audience besides just video here on YouTube. And one of the things that I want people to understand is we have all of our social medias around the web. For example, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Now, conversations on content on Instagram and Facebook at JMPro75 on Twitter, and those are our social media platforms. But again, a lot of our content is trying to serve those people, getting some engagement on those platforms, but then also setting people here. Then the next thing to look at is how well optimized are your live streams. We talked about promotion, we talked about getting out and networking, but then also one of the biggest ways to get more passive traffic to YouTube is to optimize for search, which is something that could take months to get ranked into. This is why I prefer networking when you're small and when you're first starting out. You need to build up a bit of a following before search really knows who you are, and you've got to get out there and hustle a lot. But over time, like with the storage scavenger, we found that whenever I got to about 70 to 80 videos on the channel and we got to about 600 subscribers is about the point when YouTube started getting enough data to know where to place us in search. And so that's when we started getting more search rankings. That's when we started getting more recommended traffic and more of the passive traffic coming to our channel that we didn't have to work for. Well, good morning, Miss Adrian. We were just chatting about you a few minutes ago and your wonderful growth on your new channel. Congratulations on hitting your 100 subscribers with one video. You are crushing it. So, she's a perfect example. My friend Adrian, she's done one video on her new channel, but she spent over a month promoting the new channel before she started. It's a very, very tightly focused niche, and it's a very hungry niche for the information she's sharing. And she hit 100 subscribers with her very first video. She's doing all the things right, but she understands thumbnail design. She understands promotion. So, you can do it. It's possible. She's proving that it's possible to grow very, very quickly on YouTube, but it's not something that happens accidentally. It's not something that's going to happen with somebody that's brand new, that doesn't have a following, that doesn't have that relationship already built up with people. When I started this channel, I let people in the reselling community know, but opposite of what she did, like Adrian went out for a month beforehand telling people all about this new channel she was putting together. For me, I already had 10 videos up on this channel before I told anybody it even existed. I didn't even tell people I was creating this channel until I had my first 10 videos online. And so that's something that's going to do. Yeah, I saw your tweet about it on Twitter this morning about trying to get your custom URL. It should be under the settings tab, but I don't know why it's not showing up. When I did it on the storage scavenger, it showed up after about 24 hours of hitting my 100 subscribers. I haven't got it on this channel. Once I get it on this channel, I'm going to do a video on how to do it. Good morning, Cha-Cha. So, one of the things that you really want to do is use a tool like TubeBuddy to find optimization, find keywords that people are searching for, and build your entire show. I do my keyword optimization before I even plan out the show. Like today's show, I was doing some research. It was actually in response to some questions people were asking in some of the Facebook groups that I'm in. So I went to TubeBuddy and I started doing some research based on the questions that they asked. I found keywords to optimize for, and I optimize it, and I plan today's entire show around a keyword that came from a question somebody asked. This is how I come up with most of my content ideas. This is the same strategy. Most of the content that I put out comes directly from people asking a question. I go to TubeBuddy, I find the keywords that people are searching for when they're looking for that answer, and then I create content around that. I create my entire plan around that keyword. So today it was what to do when nobody's watching your videos or watching your live streams. And I found that it was a very low competition keyword. In other words, and this is where you want to kind of tweak things around. Like my first search was what to do when nobody's watching your videos. Well, there was a lot of competition for that. But when I changed the word videos to live streams, guess what happened? It was still a really high search, but it went to virtually no competition. So I shifted the focus of the keyword in my TubeBuddy Explorer, and I went from a high competition keyword that I didn't stand a chance at ranking for to a keyword that I probably can rank for very easily with the size my channel is right now. So you want to optimize for search. You want to optimize from search up front because you can actually show up for search before you even go live if you put it out early enough. If you put it out 2 or 3 days ahead of time, I didn't with today's stream, but if you put it out 2 or 3 days ahead of time and you do a really good thumbnail, you can actually get ranking in search. You can start showing up in recommended content before you even go live. I've actually done this with some of my live streams and gotten a lot of traffic to a live stream from people that didn't know who I was, gained subscribers through some of my live streams by following this strategy. Got to go with the backup plan. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why it's not showing up. It should be showing up for you by now. Maybe it's because, well, no, it's not a new channel. That you actually created the channel a while ago. You just started posting content on the channel. So I don't know. That is a YouTube insider thing that I don't know yet. And then one of the things that we're also looking at is, we were talking about optimization, creating your content better, getting out networking. One of the things that you might think about is looking for other ways to network. Like one of the things, I just signed up yesterday for the Clubhouse app. I don't know if anybody's heard about it. Clubhouse is it's only available on Apple devices, but it's an app that is allowing people to create little rooms, and you can get in rooms with lots of different people within your community, within your niche, and have great conversations with people. I haven't gotten into it yet, so I don't know exactly how it works. We're waiting on an invitation right now. If anybody's in Clubhouse and happens to have a invitation, I am looking for one. I know Adrian Rose is also looking for one. So we're excited to try to get in there and check it out and see how it works. But I'm talking to a lot of people that are actually being able to connect with people in their niche that are too big for them to be able to really get their attention on YouTube, but they can get into a room with them on Clubhouse and get into conversations with people that are much bigger following, that have that following in their niche. And this is a great way to go in. Again, don't go in there self-promoting, but you go in there and you just get in a conversation with these guys and you start building that relationship with them. And then eventually it might lead to a collaboration or the ability to get on a live stream with them and being able to connect with people in a different way. Again, I haven't gotten in there to test it myself. I'm looking for an invitation, but I've been talking to some people that have been using it this way and been very, very successful with being able to get in touch with people that they wouldn't stand a chance at getting in touch with these people through their YouTube channel. Yeah, Cha-Cha, she knows where it's at in the YouTube channel feature. It's not available yet. She just hit her 100 subscribers a couple of days ago, so they just haven't unlocked it yet for her. So, for those of y'all that came in a little bit late, I'm actually testing a new studio setup. So I actually took my camera off the monitor. So my camera's over here, my monitor's over here. That's why I'm glancing over here to see the chat. But I think it's helping me shift my focus more so that I'm actually doing better with the eye contact. One of my biggest struggles has been eye contact with the camera. That's one of the other things that you need to look at when you're reviewing your live streams, when you're looking at why people aren't watching. Are you making that eye contact connection with people? Because I noticed as I look at my replays, that's one of the big mistakes I've had struggles with, because with my webcam sitting on top of the monitor. I'm constantly looking down at the monitor, but it's not still something I need to work on. But I'm noticing today I'm keeping a lot more attention right here on the webcam. I also got a new lighting setup. That's why my studio looks a little bit darker behind me. I actually got a ring light now that's right behind the ring cam, and I got rid of the big halogen lights. Uh, I love those lights because it really lightens up the room. It makes it really bright, but I can't put them right there in front of me, and it just brightens up too much. I like the kind of darker, more focused on me with the background kind of fading into the dark. And I'm still working on my studio setup a lot right now. I'm shifting things around in my studio, but it's something that I'm working on trying to shift. So I'm trying to create more eye contact with you guys and trying to continue doing that. But I'm also having to constantly glance over to see what's being said in the chat because I keep seeing the chat move. So I'm having to look over there to see what's being said. It does take time, so we'll give it about a week or two. Yeah, with the storage scavenger, it happened within about 24 hours of hitting 100 subscribers, but I'm not sure. And there is Dragon Value Home. Hello. Thank you for joining us today. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Yep. All right. So one of the things that we're looking at is we're continuing to try to see why are people not watching our streams? Why are people not coming in? So we talked about optimizing your streams. We talked about networking and getting more people in. And then we just talked about, kind of your presentation. And one of the things that we're looking at on our presentation is the eye contact with the camera that we just talked about, but also the format of your stream and how are you formatting your live stream. So one of the things that we've been doing with our live streams is a run of show that I learned from Owen Video, which is basically basically a blueprint for how your stream is going to go. What are the main topics you want to hit with your stream? And what are the kind of time frames that you want? One of the other things that makes YouTube so easy and are so engaging, though, and makes live streaming so engaging, is the ability to connect with your audience. One of the things that we use to connect with you guys, if you notice, one of the things we're talking about, we're constantly going back into, this is something I did, this is something I've done. The reason why is because we're sharing our stories. And this is one of the things that I want you to start looking at. I'm sharing my experience. I'm sharing my journey. Everything on this channel is about sharing my story and my journey as a video creator and how I've used that to grow my YouTube channel, how I've used that to engage more people and build my business. What are you doing on your live streams to share your story? Are you just getting up there and talking about facts and figures? Or are you actually getting in there and sharing your personal journey, sharing your story, making that connection, and not just the positive sides of your story? I'll get on here and I'll tell you, hey, I screwed up. This is something I really screwed up on my channel, and this is what it cost me. But then I also go into what did we do to overcome it? You want to end it on the positive, but you can make a great connection with people by screwing up. Just my last live stream, I was talking about one of the biggest mistakes that we've made on our journey in the last year was I had 5 YouTube channels I was focused on, and I was splitting my attention between 5 different channels over the last few months, which is part of what's stunted the growth on this channel. It's what stunted the growth on the storage scavenger. I had 5 channels, way too many, especially being a solo entrepreneur trying to do everything myself. That's way too much for one person to manage. One of the things I've found through my research and through connecting with other YouTubers, the people that are running multiple channels successfully have a team of people helping them run all those channels. Look at Think Media. He's got like 5 or 6 channels, but he's got a team of 11 or 12 people now working for him full time. And this is one of the things I've noticed. Most of the people that I know on YouTube successfully running multiple channels have a team around them. And one of the things that we've decided we're doing, we're pulling everything back to one channel. We're just going to focus on our YouTube growth strategies and really connecting with helping people to get better at YouTube and growing our business here and growing our following here and helping more people with what we're doing. One of the biggest things that Hello, Douglas. Thank you for joining us. It's true. We've got to keep focus on one channel. When I started the storage scavenger, part of the reason we saw the explosive growth in the early part was because that was the only channel I was focused on. I had other channels, but I wasn't actively putting content on them. Everything was focused on the storage scavenger. When I started trying to put content on all my channels and I started trying to branch out and do more things, my growth on the storage scavenger slowed down. My growth on this channel has been very, very slow. It's still growing. It's just very slowly growing, and it's just taking more time. It's taking more attention to get that engagement. And a lot of it's because of attention and focus. The power of focus is huge. And I'm ADHD, so don't talk about how, I can't focus. I can't focus. Okay. I have ADHD severely. I was grown up on Ritalin my entire life until I turned 19, and I decided I wasn't taking it anymore because I didn't like how it made me feel. And a lot of my problems and a lot of the mistakes I've made with YouTube has been because of my ADHD getting in the way and me getting distracted and me having too many ideas and trying to pursue all of them at once. So I understand, and my lack of organization has been a huge factor in my lack of growth. But I love, and exactly with ADHD, you either, if something bores you, it's almost impossible to force yourself to focus on it. But when you get something that you're interested in, you tend to hyper focus on it, sometimes to the exclusion of all else. And that can be a problem too. One of the things you've got to do, you got to find a balance between your YouTube time, your YouTube growth, and your family. And I have been missing in that regard. And there's been times where I've been hyper focused on the family and forgot about YouTube for months at a time. And then I've had times where I got so hyper focused on YouTube and I was neglecting the family as much as I should, or more than I should. And it's hard finding that balance and finding that connection where you can balance and coordinate all of that stuff. We're still looking for that coordination ourselves. But this is one of the things that we're talking about, sharing your stories. This is where I was going with that. I'm sharing my struggles. I'm sharing my stories and what we're doing to overcome it. So I'm starting to do some more things. Adrian shared with me some other day, some things that she's doing to prepare for focus. And I was like, you know what? I need to do this myself. So I'm actually starting to do a calendar where I'm starting to do more to coordinate where I'm spending my time and how I'm spending my time and taking control of how I'm doing it. And I need those visual references in my own mind. So that's one of the things that we're working on to try to bring more focus and attention to what we're doing. I'm also trying to pre-plan as much as I can. One of the things that we're doing is we're doing some batch production. I've got several videos already in production. I've got an entire series on how to set up an email list. We're in the middle of editing that stuff right now. I've also got an entire series that's from start. How do you create a Google account? How do you create a YouTube channel? Step by step. How do you go from no Google account to having a YouTube channel and growing that channel? That's one of the things that we're working on setting up right now in the background. Now, I'm not necessarily going to grow the channel that we're setting up. It's more of an example channel that we're just setting up for the example. But I'm already started recording how to do all that stuff. And then batch producing, we're working on editing and scripting it out and creating, the content flow that we want with it. And this is something that we've got coming up in the next few weeks. One of the things that I did, I watched a video that popped up on my recommended content from 5 years ago. And it was this little bitty brand new YouTuber named Nick Nimmin. And he was being interviewed by Daryl Eves. Daryl Eves is a big YouTuber. If those of you that are kind of new to YouTube, Nick Nimmin now is kind of a big YouTuber. But 5 years ago, he was a newbie just starting out. And that's where he was at when this interview was done. So it was really interesting to get to see Nick Nimmin back when he first started on YouTube and some of the advice that was given to him. And I'm actually taking and looking at some of that advice and looking at how I can apply it to my channel. One of the things that they did with his channel through that advice that Daryl gave him was he set up and recorded and edited and had his first 20 videos before he even published his first one. And the reason why is because that gives you a stack of content in your content library so that you're not in a rush to put out your next piece of content. And this is something we're looking at doing with ours, is batch producing some content. I'm trying to do about 4 or 5 videos at a time, batch producing them, getting them uploaded into the YouTube library so that over the next few weeks, if I'm doing one recorded video a week, if I have 5 videos, that means I've got the next 5 weeks worth of videos already done and I don't have to worry about it. Then I can do the next 5 and I can take more time and I can really focus on improving my editing skills, really focus on my presentation skills, really focus on developing those skills. If you've got 5 weeks worth of videos in your buffer already, you can really hone in on focusing on developing your skills while you create the next pieces of content. This is something that's huge, and I think everybody should be doing this, getting the future content up there already. One of the things that we're working on is when I'm doing live streaming, I can't really pre-produce that content. But one of the things that I'm doing is I'm pre-planning the content. So I'm working on the graphics. I'm working on the things that I want to do in my run of show. I've got the next 2 weeks worth of content for my live streams already planned. One of the things that this helps us do is if you already know what your future shows are going to be, then you can drop hints about it and recommend people to subscribe to come and see our next content. For example, just the other day, we talked about collaborations, and it's one of the biggest things that we've done to grow our channel. But there's 5 huge mistakes that I see a lot of people making in collaborations that's keeping them from seeing the results that they could. And that's what we're talking about at Conversations on Content coming up on Friday. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel so that you can catch that episode when it comes out on Friday. We're going to be talking about the 5 biggest mistakes that people make doing collaborations. Again, I've got the next few weeks worth of episodes already planned out. So I already know exactly what we're going to be talking about and how we're going to be doing it. I'm in the middle of doing some research and kind of fleshing out more detail of what I'm doing. But that's one of the keys to really being able to engage your audience with your live streams, is being able to kind of promote the next live stream because you already know what you're going to be talking about. Now, if you're live streaming daily, this can be a little bit difficult because that means you've got to have a whole week's worth of live streams already planned out ahead of time. I'm doing 2 or 3 live streams a week. This one is actually supposed to be a recorded video today, but I just decided instead of recording and editing, I was just going to go ahead and do it live. I'm more and more falling in love with the fiddle method, which is F it, do it live. Daryl leaves and I got certified by the YouTube same program. You know, one of the things that I did, because I kept hearing people talk about being YouTube certified, and so I went in to look into it. They have now removed YouTube growth as a certification. That was just a change they made just a couple of months ago. Because I went to look into how to get certified as a YouTube growth consultant, and they've removed that certification. Yeah, and the collab that we did was really good, and actually some of the examples I'm using in the upcoming stream is actually from that collaboration. So that's one of the things I'm going to be talking about. The certification that she's talking about, they still have it. One, you have to be monetized. You have to have a partner manager to get even enrolled in those certifications. But it's different, and they have different types of certifications for different things on YouTube. But they took YouTube growth out of the certification list. I was doing some research on it just a couple of weeks ago. So it's for a higher level. It's more for people that are doing YouTube consultation and doing YouTube growth strategies. Um, but they took YouTube growth out of the list, so I'm not sure how to get involved in that now. And like I said, it says in the thing you have to have a partner manager, so you have to be in the partner program. Yep. You have to really, really know a lot more in depth about the YouTube algorithm. There's a lot of studying that goes involved, but I tell you what, those courses also give you a ton of knowledge about how YouTube works that the average person doesn't know. It's the kind of stuff that you and I would be perfect for, but we have to also build up to a point where they let you into those courses. They're very strict on who they let into them in the first place. So, but one of the things that we're working on trying to do some more collaborations within the YouTube community, within the YouTube growth community. We're trying to do more collaborations, more networking. One of the things that we're working on trying to do is pre-planning, pre-supporting. This is the other thing. If you're able to know what your plan is for the next couple of weeks, do you think you could get out and network with some other people within your niche? And you already know what content's coming out, whether it's pre-recorded and already in the buffer, or if you've already at least got your plan and your run of show planned out for the next 2 or 3 live streams. Do you think you could get out, network with other YouTubers, get up on their show and actually talk to the audience about those problems and about those topics that you have upcoming shows for, so that you're pre-selling people on the content that's coming out? And then you already have it set up, so you can even share the link, say right here is where we're going to be talking about it, set the reminder so you can come and see the live show. This is where, again, pre-optimizing and pre-setting up those shows can be really, really beneficial. I'm working on the thumbnails today. I'm hoping by the end of today I can have my shows for later in the week already set up so that people can set those reminders and it can start being indexed and start showing up in recommended content for people on YouTube. So these are some of the big factors that we've been talking about on YouTube growth. If there's any questions on how to get more people to your live streams, getting more people engaged in what you're saying and doing, and if you have some questions about that, leave them in the chat right now. We're going to take some questions here in just a minute if there are any. And if you're watching this on the replay, make sure you leave us a comment below and leave us your questions about YouTube growth and how to get more engagement with your audience and with the people that you want to be your audience here on YouTube. So if there's any questions, we're going to take questions at this time. But if you don't have any questions, we are going to call it a day. Give it a minute for people to respond. Yeah, YouTube ID, courses, and content. All right. Well, I don't really see any questions coming in, so we are going to go ahead and call it a show for the day. Don't forget to tune in Friday and see what we have to show. And we're going to be talking about 5 key areas of collaborations and 5 huge mistakes that people make trying to get collaborations and doing collaborations that keep them from seeing the results that they should. And we will see you Friday at the live stream. Y'all have a great day.